First and foremost, all praises, glory, and honor goes to Yahweh Bashem, Yahushai Bashem, Rakako Dash. Double honors to the elder apostles, that great male son that taught us his truth. Salutation, all I can pushing this word day in and day out, doing this quick lesson on this guy from the Atlanta, that is, young Scooter. You know, he passed away on his 39th birthday. Okay. You know, I know him way back, like 2007, 6, 8, late 2000s. All right, I remember him going back way then. All right. And he's like I guess you could call a C-list rapper. You know, if you don't really know rap music or trap music, you ain't gonna really know who Scooter is. Okay. But I know him going way back then because I was a big music head at one point. And they said he got smoked by police, you know, and you're going to see more instances of these celebrity jakes getting clipped by the boys, you know what I'm saying?
We're here to discuss two events this evening. The first being from the 200 block of William Nye Drive. In Zone 3, officers responded to a dispute with a weapon. It was advised in the call remarks that shots were fired and a female was dragged back into the location. Once officers arrived, they knocked on the door. A male opened the door and immediately shut the door on the officers. The officers then established a perimeter. During the process of establishing the perimeter, two males fled out of the rear of the house. One male returned back into the house. The other male jumped two fences as he was fleeing. When officers located him on the other side of the fence, he appeared to have suffered an injury to his leg. Officers rendered aid, and he was transported to Grady Hospital, where he was pronounced deceased. That male is going to be a 39-year-old male out of Atlanta. Just to be very clear, the injury that was sustained was not via the officers on scene. It was when the male was fleeing. We're here to discuss we're here to discuss two events this evening. The first being from the 200 block of William Nye.
So it said that the injuries when he cut himself hopping the fence, man, because you know some of these fences have what they call them shits, man, barbed wire or something, have the real prickly points. You know, and this is how a lot of you 2/3 Jake's gonna pass away in these last days. You know, because you're gonna be fleeing martial law troops and bots and shit, and you're gonna get cut the fuck up, man, on these fences and shit. The Lord's just gonna require your soul. Sorry to, you know, snicker at that shit, but you know, hey man, hey, ultimately guys like young Scooter are 2/3, man, all right? Because he didn't promote nothing but, you know, debauchery, if that's the right word. You know, he ain't being a degenerate, you know, smoking weed, popping pills, the usual shit, committing adultery, whoredoms, you know, things of that nature, man. You know, you just feel sorry for his children, because he look like he has older children, maybe like middle school age children and shit, you know. But here it is, this guy, you know, he's a C-list rapper, and he's still, you know, running from the boys at almost 40 years old, man. You know what I'm saying? Because of a situation that transpired. All right, which he should have been left that life behind, or at least just took the charge and fought the shit. You're a rapper. You're a C-list rapper. You're not even a D or E-list guy that no one knows about. You're a C-list rapper. You got many friends in the industry, or you know, people you know that got money. So Just fight that shit in court, man. You know. You know, allegedly, all this stuff is alleged because you know Esau and these police departments, man. They always make a story about some shit, man. You'll see them when the body cam footage is released, okay? So I'm gonna get a few quick precepts. This is Luke 23. And I'm gonna start at 40. And but the other answering rebuked him, saying, "Dost not thou fear the Most High, seeing thou art in the same condemnation?" All right. So this is the guy. Okay, actually, I'm gonna start at 39. And one of the malefactors which were hanged railed on him, saying, "If thou be Christ, save thyself and us." But it wasn't time for the Lord to use the power to, deliver Jake, man. From these Edomites and shit, these Romans, these Greeks. But the other answer rebuked him, saying, "Dost not thou fear the Most High, seeing that thou art in the same condemnation? And we indeed justly, for we receive the due reward of our deeds. But this man hath done nothing amiss." But he said unto us, "Yahushua, Lord, remember me when thou comest into thy kingdom." So this is all on the cross, man. Jake bleeding out, man. Asking for mercy. And Yahushua said unto him, "Verily I say unto thee, today thou shalt be with me in paradise." Because the Lord knows all things, man. Your end is written from the beginning of time, man. All right. So the Lord knows everyone's fate. The Lord knows, even in this time, the Lord knows who's a 2/3 and a 1/3. Okay. But he said unto him, "Verily I say unto thee, today thou shalt be with me in paradise," man. And what's paradise? The spiritual realm, man. All right. So everyone, like even this guy, Young Scooter, man. Today he's in paradise, man. You don't gotta worry about running from the law. That's probably because the Lord will get you from, whatever your vice is, whatever you love, whatever you fear. That's how most people end up dying, whatever worldly possessions they love or whatever they fear. And, more than likely this guy, especially the lifestyle he promoted, he feared the cops to death. And that's how he died, man. Okay. So the Lord's gonna really start opening up on you, which he has been, you rap niggas. There's been so many rap niggas that perish. We be forgetting sometimes. Like, damn, that nigga died. If we're still in the time of the Passover, man. This is Luke 12 and 20. And I say to my soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. Because this is the spirit of 2/3, man. 2/3, like, yeah, we got the big bag, generational wealth, endless money. We run it up. That whole run it up spirit. You know what I'm saying? I could buy any bitch. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what all these hoes look for, a nigga to pay their rent type shit. After a certain age, that's all they look for. Really be honest that a woman stopped looking for love after like 24, 25, man, just to keep it above. But the younger woman, they still, the ones in a somewhat of a right mind, they still look for a man to love. Okay. But you know, an older woman, she's looking for bills to get paid. You know what I'm saying? An aged woman. That's why like you got a thing called puppy love, man. That's like, cause you know they really, you know, they're not exposed to bills and all that dark shit. You know, at a young age, because more than likely to have a parent or a guardian that's, you know, still paying for, you know, the lights, keep the lights on and a roof over their head. And I will say to my soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease. Yeah, take it easy. You know, Jake, that's how Jake always say, yo, take it easy, be easy. Eat. Yeah, Jake loved to be a glutton. Drink. Yeah, Jake loved to get turned up, get drunk, get tipsy, and be merry, be happy. What they say, the house of mirth, man, being that mirth-like spirit. You know, Jake love a good party. You know, Jake love all these things that this person said, this individual said. But Yahweh Shem Yahushua said unto him, thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. So even this guy Scooter, he could have had millions stacked up, right? Doing shows, doing, you know, little speaking engagements, Vlad TV type interviews and shit. And so all that shit don't matter when it's, you know, the time for the Lord to call your spirit, man. Thy soul shall be required of thee. Then whose shall those things be which thou hast provided? Yeah, it's going to be Esau, because really, yeah, that's why you got something called estate matters, man. Probate and shit like that, because, you know, Esau gets to choose, okay, this person gets this cut, the wife gets this cut, the kids or the brother, sibling, depending on how the will's structured, and then Esau gets his cut. You know, if there's a lot of money involved or a house involved, Esau gets his cut. You know, Esau always gets his cut. You know, whether you bring a child into this world or someone, you know, gets put to death, Esau always gets his cut. You know, so our scriptures say, "Curse when you come in, curse when you go out." Man, all right. So is he that layeth up treasure for himself and is not rich toward how about Shimei Shai, man? So, and that's what we are. We're rich towards Yahweh Shimei Shai, not towards Esau, man. You know, even though you got certain brothers that got a bigger bag, you know, than most Hakim. You know, it's all a balance, man. You got certain brothers easily bringing in over 10K a month, easily 20K a month, 30K, whatever. You know, that's good, man. You know, more power to you, brothers. You know, I even have brothers bringing in 100K a month, 200. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what type of business or hustle you got, man. All right. That's good, man, because you don't want to be, goddamn, you know, living in poverty. Scriptures say, what's that, Matthew 9 or Matthew 6 and 9? You need the poverty. That's not the scripture, but that's the Lord's prayer going into the daily bread. But the scriptures say, give me neither poverty nor riches, man. All right. So you don't want to be too high. You don't want to be too low either, man. Just find that nice middle ground that supports your lifestyle, man. But you know, these jakes, they run up the bag thinking that, you know, it's gonna last forever. And in many cases it don't. It's be rich niggas or money niggas that die every day, man. In a brand new exotic vehicle, you know, every day. All right. That's why Jake gotta stay off them drugs, cause that shit make you paranoid, man, and Guys like Young Scooter trying to run out the back door. You know, allegedly, you know, get clipped, man. This is Slocky. Romans 4, Job 4:7. Remember, I pray to whoever be perish being innocent or wherever the righteous cut off. So, you know, guys like Scooter, what's this guy name in Memphis, man? Young Dolph. I believe Quando Rondo died. I can't keep up, man. There's be so many rap niggas that perish. Going back to, you know, allegedly Biggie and Tupac. I believe Biggie really dead, but Tupac's another story. You know, all these guys, you know, they weren't innocent, man. They promoted a life of vain, man, emptiness, man. You know, there was only but so many hoes you could pop. There's only but so many shows, so many cars, so many cribs, and then what, man? You know, you still don't know the meaning of life, but we do, man. All right. So I'm gonna end it there till next time. Shalom.